Hello dear students. Today I'm gonna teach you third part, last part of your seventh chapter Glimpses of India Tea from Assam by Arup Kumar Datta. In this story, a boy named Pranjal, who is a youngster, who is a young boy, is Rajveer's classmate at school in Delhi. We'll talk about a boy named Pranjal who is from Assam and is a young boy, is Rajveer's classmate at school in Delhi. Pranjal's father is the manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam. Pranjal, who is from Assam's father is a manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam. And Pranjal has invited Rajveer to visit his home during the summer vacation. Pranjal invites his friend Rajveer to visit his home Assam during the summer vacations. Now let us see their conversation, their journey to Assam. Chai, garam chai, a vendor called out in a high-pitched voice. Chai, garam chai, a vendor, a seller called out, announced in a high-pitched voice, He came up to the window. He approached the window and asked Chai Saab. Give us 2 cups, Pranjal said. The vendor approached Pranjal and asked if they wanted. Pranjal and Rajveer wanted tea, and Pranjal ordered 2 cups of tea. They shipped the steaming hot liquid. They drank the steaming hot liquid. Here the steaming hot liquid refers to tea. So both Pranjal and Rajveer drank steaming hot liquid. They both took tea. Almost everybody in their compartment of rail was drinking tea too. Almost everybody was in their compartment drinking tea. Do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world? Rajveer said. Rajveer said to his friend Pranjal, do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout in every part of the world? View, exclaimed Pranjal. Pranjal, who did not have any idea about this, exclaimed view. And he said tea is really very popular. Now, as they were in the train, and this was the scene of railway station, the train pulled out of the station. The train left the station. Pranjal buried his nose in his detective book again. Pranjal, who was earlier reading his detective book, again buried his nose. Again started reading his detective book again. Rajveer too was an ardent fan of detective stories. Although Rajveer was an ardent fan of detective books, but at that moment he was not doing that. He was not reading detective book. Instead, he was keener, he was eager on looking at the beautiful scenery, at the beautiful sight outside the train window. So far we have read that Pranjal and Rajveer are traveling to Assam. A vendor, the train is at the station. A vendor approaches Rajveer and Pranjal and asks them if they wanted tea. Pranjal orders two cups of tea. They ship the steaming hot liquid, and exactly at that time, Rajveer states that throughout the world, all in every part of the world, over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day. After the train left the station, Pranjal started reading his detective book. Although Rajveer also an ardent and a passionate fan of detective books, yet he doesn't read. Instead, he starts looking at the beautiful scenery outside the train. It was green, green everywhere. Outside the train, the scenery was completely green. Rajveer had never seen so much greenery before. Before this, Rajveer had not seen so much greenery. Then the soft green paddy fields gave way to tea bushes. So far, Rajveer was looking at the soft green paddy fields, soft green rice fields. Now, the soft green paddy fields were replaced by the tea bushes. It was a magnificent view. It was a fantastic view. Against the backdrop of densely wooded hills, a sea of tea bushes stretched out as far as the eye could see. Against, close to the background of densely wooded hills, a sea of tea bushes stretched out as far as I could see. Sea of tea bushes was expanded as far as the eye could see, close to the background of densely wooded hills. Dwarfing the tiny tea plants were tall, sturdy shade trees, and amidst the orderly rows of bushes busily moved doll-like figures. Tall, strong shade trees were turning the tiny tea plants into dwarf. They were making them appear small, the tall, sturdy shade trees. And amidst the orderly rows of buses, in the middle of the rows of buses, there moved doe-like figures. In the distance was an ugly building with smoke blowing out of tall chimneys. In the distance, an ugly tall building could be seen, and smoke was waving out of tall chimneys. Hey, tea garden, Rajveer cried excitedly. Rajveer exclaimed, Hey, a tea garden. Rajveer, for whom tea gardens were completely new, exclaimed when he saw a tea garden. Pranjal, who had been born and brought up on a plantation, did not share Rajveer's excitement. Pranjal, who had been born on a tea plantation, who had been brought up on a tea plantation, did not become excited because all these things were not new to him, were not new for him.